My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey gang, welcome back. Today we got a special guest zooming in from probably my favorite city in Texas, Austin, Texas. This is a guy with the best name ever, Victorious Thompson. And Victorious is very, very, up to his neck in real estate in more ways than one. He is a realtor and a broker. That takes up, I believe he says, 80% of his time. Then 15% of his time, he is in the active investing side of things, doing deals, raising capital for deals. And then 5% of the time is what he calls his sexy time, which we'll dive into that. So, Victorious, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me. Happy to be on.
Yeah. So I kind of gave a brief little overview there. Maybe talk to me a little bit about how you've kind of got this, what everybody calls these days, vertically integrated real estate business. What does each thing look like? How do they kind of tie together? And then let us all know what the sexy part is all about.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I'll start with what I think is going to hit the audience most, and that's in my investing and private lending. So that's about 15% of my time. So when I got into real estate in 2017, I came in as a flipper, wholesaler. So we did about 150 deals in Georgia, South Carolina. That's where I started. Then COVID hit, my bank money went away. I said, I need to learn how to raise private money. I didn't even know how to spell private money when that first happened. So then I started raising, and that was my second business to really, it was tough to find a good borrower and capital. So I just raised the capital from personal investors. I became the good borrower, and then I found other good borrowers, and that's how my business grew from there. Okay. So that's my, I think the most relevant piece here. Yes, I do realtor and brokerage stuff, which is single family. That's kind of, I'm on EXP, so I have a bunch of agents with me too. So that's been good. I've learned that's lower risk than being the investor. And then the 5% on my sexy is what I like to keep in my pocket, because you always want to have something as an investor. At least I learned in the relationship business, which we're in, is tell me that project you're really excited about. Mm-hmm. Tell me that project you're really excited about. So we've got I've done mostly single family and small multifamily, but I've got a 25 unit multifamily that's really a Pathfinder deal. I've done 7 flips with this operator, raised all the money for them privately. And now we come across this 25 unit, and I'm a veteran, Air Force veteran, and I've got some really solid, it's called 10X bets, and they have a fund now, and they raise the money from other veterans for veterans. And they're a good capital partner, because if you're out there listening to the show, hey, you can Wild West it for a while, but once you get to a certain level or certain deal where you need a bankable capitalized partner, you have to have your ducks in a row. So this is a Pathfinder deal. We're about to close on this on Monday, and we couldn't be more excited to kind of hit those milestone events. When I think about an investor, you do your first deal, you're like, oh, this is great. Then you do 100 deals, you're like, oh, not so great. But then you do a big one, 7-figure deal, and it's something to celebrate.
That's exciting. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Congratulations on that, Victorious. Let's talk a little bit about the private lending side of things. That sounds like something you got into by accident. Yeah. What happened? What kind of got the ball rolling there for you?
Yeah. So this was, March of 2020. Here's the situation. So we were using Filipino VAs. We thought we were in this beta program with a company. We're always everyone get in masterminds, pay for it, figure out the good ones. You're not going to get better unless you do that. And so we partnered with a buddy in there. We're texting. I text motivated seller. They set up the lunch. I go to lunch. We're having lunch. He's got 3 quadplexes, so call it 12 units, and go through all my real estate sales training and sit there, have a great conversation. Now we get down to, hey, I'm ready to buy this. And he's like, man, I got to talk to my wife. And I go, hey, just all the objection handling. I go, okay, what do you need, more time or this or that? And he goes, you know what, man, let's do this. And I signed it on the spot. Biggest deal, one-time close. We call this a cherry in the world that I live in. You don't get these all the time, but it's a reward for being in the game. I take the contract back. I wake up the next morning, call the bank. it's March 2020. They go, hey man, we're pencils down on any bank financing. And I go, well, I have a contract. So two things happened. I was living in Athens, Georgia, house hacking a duplex, and I had moved 5 times that year because we were moving. And I have
do a lot of house hacking.
Lot of hacking. And my good buddy, he owns a CrossFit box, and I could never do the double unders where you jump and you do two revolutions. And I
can't either, Victoria. I don't know what it is, man.
I'll tell you how you fix that. So I went on my back deck and I said, I'm going to figure out how to do these double unders, and I'm going to figure out how to raise all this money myself. And from that point, Capital Raiser was born. And again, you don't know the skills in real estate because there's low barriers to entry, right? Like you don't have to pay to become a real estate investor, but you will pay for that education, and it is expensive. You're going to pay. So that's really how I got into that. And once I was able to raise, once again, when you believe and you do it, now it's just.
So what did you do to raise that? How much did you have to raise? 400 grand?
So I had to raise 400 grand. Yep. Okay. So I had to raise 400 grand. And here's the story. So the first thing I had to do is I talked to the seller. I said, hey man, can I buy one from you every 90 days because the situation has changed? And the seller said, okay, no problem. Okay. So got to raising. I've got a couple $100,000 going, but not enough. And the investors were like, hey, we want to get an equity stake. And this is a key thing to delineate is debt and equity, right? Mm-hmm. I prefer to raise capital for debt, for most of the deals. And I'm willing to pay more for that because it's better than giving equity. Equity, now you got a marriage, you got all these other things. So I was actually rocking and rolling. So we got a couple funded, but wasn't able to get all the funding done. So here's kind of the good news and bad news. So bad news, I actually wasn't able to raise the full amount. But in doing this process, I found a more senior investor, and we actually ended up wholesaling the deal for actually almost a couple $100,000. And that funded the business for the next year. And during COVID times, you wanted to have the coffers full. So once we had the coffers full, then I went on to raise money for the rest of our
150
deals that we did. So, obviously they weren't all that size, but now
what kind of deals were you doing? Were you doing flips? What were you guys up to?
Yes. So we were mainly doing flips. So we flipped 150 properties, about 50 a year. And these could be anywhere from, it's crazy to talk about the times now. This is 17. I think we bought a townhouse for $25K, you know what I mean? But we would buy stuff up to, 150, 200,000, kind of in that, this is in between Atlanta, Georgia and Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's, you're going to have your more second, third tier markets.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're trying to start out, that's where you want to be at.
No, that makes sense. So what did you find worked best for you for raising capital? You're out in the back porch, you're doing double unders.
Yep.
What did you kind of figure out? How did you raise that initial capital, and how did you keep raising after that?
Yeah. So it's been an evolution. And that's what I say is continue to join masterminds and level up. So when I started, I just called and said, my first lesson learned was say, hey, Dave, I've got an opportunity. Do you know someone that might be interested, or maybe can you take a look at this? So I never said, hey, Dave, will you invest in my deal? Right.
So it's always indirect, like a very
indirect
off kind of thing. Yeah. Take a look at it, or maybe you know somebody. Smart.
And because here's what happened is a lot of people, you're asking people for something that aren't interested. Mm-hmm. And I've learned is if you're not interested, it's, you're trying to go for the no. I want you to tell me no earlier so I can move on. I don't want this in between maybes, no. So I always say, hey, are you interested in even talking about this? And if they go, yes, then we move forward. So that was lesson 1. Lesson 2 is you got to learn who you're talking to. You either got someone who's super analytical, wants all the information, wants to ask all the questions, yada, 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 right? You either want someone that just wants the bullet points, right? Keep it short and sweet. Or you have, someone who's more relationship oriented than deal particulars. So I think being able to bucket who you're talking to, and then you got to modify the language. So what I found works best, if I was picking, is relationship. That's who I am, right? All that other stuff matters. But I'm a relationship first guy. We got to like each other first. And in this business, you get to pick. No one is issued an operator or an investor, right? You have to go get that yourself. So I'm very long on success equals relationships plus time. And let me pause there and maybe we can kick this back and forth too. I want to keep my answers a little short and sweet.
No, I love that. So repeat what you just said. Success equals
relationships plus time.
So what does that mean to you?
So that brings me to what now I run as a top 50. So I think of anything I do, I'm either beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And I can't emphasize that enough more. It doesn't matter. If you think about it that way, you never compare yourself to anyone else. For example, that's how I started beginner. Now I'll say is advanced. So I have a 36 touch strategy for my top 50. And I'm going to explain that briefly, Dave. So inside the top 50, you have your core advocates. These are 80-20, right? Think about all the people in your life. Who's the top 1% that's really responsible for all your deals, your business connections, right? And I write them a personalized letter saying, Dave, you are a core advocate. I could have not done this without you. Your support means the world to me. Your referrals mean so I am constantly feeding that. They're inside my top 50.
So these are handwritten messages. Yes. How often are you sending those to your
Every year.
Once a year.
Every year.
Okay. And how many of those do you have out of your top 50?
Up to 10. And this could vary, right? This is just as a framework. So up to 10, because you can't have more than 10. Everybody can't be your core advocate, right?
Right.
And it keeps you focused. And so let me zoom out to the top 50 now. This includes, so for someone to be in your top 50, the requirement is they have to give you one referral at least a year. And if they don't give you one referral, they're not out. But I like to think about it as, what sort of energy, communication could I put into this to make them a top 50? And so how I run the entire playbook now that I set up how it works is you got to get 36 touches in a year. So people go, oh man, you're going to contact me 36 times. It sounds crazy, but look, if you're not doing marketing and you're scared of that, like you're in the wrong business. So here's how it works.
Yeah.
The easiest touch is start out, you send a personal touch, right? Hey, Dave, how's everything in BC? Popped in my head. Don't overcomplicate that, right? That could be a call, text, email, whatever. The next level is the newsletter. And everyone goes, the newsletter. Like you got to have a newsletter. I mean, the people that are in your top 50, your top 10, they care. They want to know. They want to know what's going on and figure out a way to add value. All right. And then the
digital or physical newsletter?
I use, and tech stack matters. So there's a software called Flowdesk. It makes the emails pretty. You can put pictures in there because no one wants to see a boring email, right? So I highly recommend Flowdesk for that. It's all automated. Now again, there's automation involved. And then the final touch is what they call virtual door knocking. Have you heard of this, Dave?
I have not.
Virtual door knocking it goes like this. Let's say I look you up. You're on LinkedIn, right, Dave?
Yep.
Oh, cool. You just dropped a podcast with this Victorious guy. I go, hey, Dave. Oh, cool. You said, Austin's your favorite place? Hey, I live in Austin. Great show. Appreciate the top 50 in there. So you just become this. There's a couple ways that I call it the reply guy or a dopamine dealer. Because when you look at your face right now, I see how you're reacting. When you go on LinkedIn and you receive my comment, you're going to be sitting here with your phone. And you're like, that's really good. So now I've hit you with a personal note, and the personal notes could be more advanced, like popping by or inviting to a client event, right? There's all kinds of levels of that, but I've got you with personal. I've got the newsletter just so you don't forget that I'm out here doing stuff. And then I'm on your socials. Dopamine dealing to you directly. And you do that 3 times a month for 12 months. Show me that you don't have a referral business after that, and I'll eat my left shoe.
Hey there, if you're a capital raiser, a syndicator, or a fund manager, and you're looking for a steady flow of incoming accredited investor leads, then go ahead, grab a free copy of my new book, How to Get 20 Accredited Investor Meetings Every Month Without Cold Calling, Networking, or Chasing People. You can get that at 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com. Again, that's the number 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com. So, Victoria, do you use this primarily for the capital raising side of things or the realtor side of things, or both?
it's become my business, because at the end of the day, I'm in the relationship business. I really struggle with this. So I was an officer in the Air Force for a while there. And I've been in corporate America, Fortune 500 companies. And before I went to business school, I went to USC business school, shout out USC Marshall. And when I was there, it's really tough. When you come from the military, you've got a job to do, right? And it's not necessarily, it's more about Captain Thompson than who's victorious. And I really found there that what is my superpower? And that's my ability to connect with people. I don't care where you come from, throw me in the room, get us talking. We've been talking for 10 minutes and I already feel like we could be real good buddies. Mm-hmm. And when you become a specialist in the relationship business and you run the top 50, now it's hard to help someone when they don't know what they're looking for. Like you asked me who my audience is, right? Like who am I looking to connect with? Operators that need capital. That's crystal clear. But if someone goes, I don't really know, it's hard to help them. But if you have a top 50, whether they're an investor, whether they're maybe a great buyer client, maybe it's a great operator, maybe it's a great lender, and you are doing this with them, of course, there's going to be business brought their way, of course, right? And it gets away from this, hey, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, into like, Dave, you're my core advocate, or Dave, you're in my top 50. I run a professional, like, you know what I mean? I read the room on how you share this, but it's like, I want to feed and grow into your business. And that's the relationship I want, that we both help each other. And then once you get that and you start sharing with them, oh, wait, how do you run? How are you always up with me? And then you're able to share that value, because someone said to me, Dave, and it was a slap in the face. They go, until you have a referral business, you're a hobbyist. And I went, ouch. But I took that, look, feedback is a gift, right? The more candid, the better. And I go, yeah, if I had 50 people giving me one referral for whatever it is a year, I'm going to Costa Rica, baby. I'm going every year. And I want that for other people, but I think it becomes so overwhelming. I'm not following up. What am I doing? It's like, you got to get a simple framework and then you just run the play. So when I get up, I'm not thinking about what I need to improve. I'm just thinking about what play am I running today?
Well, that's another question that comes to mind then, Victorious. So with this brilliant referral idea, your top 50 that you got there, how do you, I mean, the newsletter I get that goes out every month. Okay. That's 12 touches a year. Then you've got your top 1%ers. You're sending them a personal note, whenever that is, birthdays, Christmas, whatever. How do you kind of structure when you're connecting with the other folks with the virtual door knocking or whatever else that you're doing for outreach?
Yeah. So again, it's a very simple system. I just keep who the names are and what I just put it in my calendar and I just do it. I think if I dive a little deeper, what the question I usually get asked is, when do you ask for the business? And that's
that's one thing. But the first thing I'm just wondering is, like, logistically speaking, you're doing this with 50 people.
Yeah.
Are you batching it up where you're doing
Got it.
Yes. 5 a week kind of thing, or how does that?
Yeah. So look, choose something that works would be my answer for folks, but I like to hit it on the first, right? First comes around, it's programmed, because guess what? The easiest thing to talk about is, Dave, hey, it's July. Happy summer. Happy 4th of July, right? So I kept the whole month, and people forget how nice it is when you're just like, hey, happy July, right? The month changed, and that's the easiest one. Why are you reaching out? I just wanted to wish you a happy July, Dave. Right? So I don't care.
There's always a reason. It's the first day of the month. Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Why were you reaching out? I just wanted to wish you a happy July. What are you doing for the 4th?
Yeah. Okay, then that brings up the next question. When do you ask for the business?
So look, every 3rd or 4th time you ask for the business. And look, I want to preface this by saying the newsletter, what I'm putting out, that is the value add. If I dopamine deal you on virtual door knocking and make you, that's value added. Exactly. I'm adding value to your life, right? I'm always looking at it and it's like, hey, this Victorious guy is always putting something in my cup, right? It could be nice, and again, people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel, right?
Yeah.
So on the 3rd or 4th time, I go like this, fill in the blank on whatever I'm asking for. I go, hey, Dave, I'll just use the let's use the operator side. Hey, Dave, do you know anyone out there in your real estate network that is looking for a capital partner? And that's the intermediate, I'll say. Here's the advance. Hey, a referral, any referral you get me, I make $10,000 off that. And the reason why I say that is when you sometimes ask for referrals, people think they have to do it, right? It's like, oh, Victorious just wants me to buy stuff. And I'm like, no, I want you to refer me people that actually need what I want. And I'm quantifying it. Hey, when you help me, it makes me $10,000. And now they feel, oh man, I'm helping him get $10,000. Like, I'm like, I want to do that. And I don't have to do anything but refer.
Nice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Victorious, this has been a lot of fun. This is great. I love your top 50. I love your way of reaching out and staying connected with those and just the way you've structured it. Very, very smart. So thanks so much for sharing that. I'm sure there's going to be lots of people wanting to connect with you and find out more about you. Where should they go?
Yes. So the best way to get me is on Instagram. I have a link to all my social media links on there, and that's at the Victorious Thompson.
Pretty sure there's only one.
There's only one, baby.
All right. Hey, Victorious, thanks for being on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Have a great day. Happy July.
Happy July to you. All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next one. Hey there. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com.